Hi guys, welcome back to another week of e-commerce marketing chats with myself, Charles, and Jimmy. Jimmy, how's it going, mate? It's been a couple of weeks. Lots been
Yeah, I
going on
know.
since we've
And
been away,
I
and
think, yeah, we were just saying before the call. I mean, I've been away just on holiday at Easter with the kids for 2 weeks, but yeah, it's like I've come back to a new world. Things are changing so quickly. So, I think the biggest changes, even from a marketing perspective for Shopify users, is just the advancements that Claude are making at the moment. And you can literally access your Shopify store as of, I think it's 3 days ago, like natively through Shopify with Claude. So
yeah, I just saw that.
I will
Yeah,
say, I will say to the people that are testing that, like, do it with an air of caution, because I have already seen two people like completely just nuke their sites trying to make template edits and not 100% sure what they're doing. And then if you're going to edit anything in a theme, make sure you're doing it on a test theme, not on your live theme. So I will say that. But I mean, I've been using Claude on Shopify for a little while now. I can kind of give everyone listening a use case. So I work with a supplement company, and they have about, say, about 600 products that were flagged for misleading health claims. So these are usually the descriptions coming from, the suppliers that they get the supplements from. And to be honest with you, for that client to change 600 descriptions to make them Google compliant and not misleading health claims would have taken them months and months, if they even did it at all. So what I was able to build with Claude Code was a little tool that I'm now using internally that takes the misleading health claims report from the Merchant Center. I load it straight up to the tool. It automatically finds all the products that are referenced in those misleading health claims and will automatically rewrite all the descriptions and make them Google compliant with the documentation that I've given it and the training that I've given it. So I ran that. It took 23 minutes to write 600 new descriptions.
wow,
So this is, it's kind of the level you can play at now with large SKU stores. The thing that I'm building right now is a title and description optimizer for the product feed, but also I am finding in the Google Merchant Center product feed, especially like fashion stores, they're just missing like some of the data that should be in that feed, like color, sizing, what gender it's for. Literally building out a tool that's going to fill out all those missing data gaps for these people, which is going to be extremely important in this AI phase, because the AI is really relying on kind of that additional data. Like, the more specific you can get about a product, I'm finding the higher chance you have of showing up in these AI results as well. And I think Charles has got his own discussion that he wants to have on like the conversions that are happening in AI, from a data perspective as well. But yeah, in terms of what Claude Code is bringing to people to be able to, one, understand their data more, build tools to change workflows. It's just, and then I went to an open claw meetup on last Thursday, and just some of the things people are building are absolutely mind blowing. I'll give you an example of something that I saw that was built, because people say this all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, this is mind blowing what people are doing, and then you're like, oh, what are they actually doing? So I had a look at had a look at this. It was for basically pool companies that wanted to get pools into houses. So this open claw is like, if you give it a neighborhood, it scrapes the Google Earth data for the whole neighborhood, takes individual properties, and artificially puts in what a pool would look like in their backyard, and then basically sends it off to that person's house. Say basically, hey, how good would a pool look in your house? And it's their backyard with a pool in it.
that's
Um,
amazing.
just
That's amazing.
just
Yeah,
in just insane. Um, but yeah, no, so the person that hosted that Open Claw meetup, his name's Simon Beard, massive entrepreneur in Australia, absolute legend. He owned Culture Kings, which he got he sold 50% of it, $600 million. And he's kind of pushing this open claw phase at the moment, and he's fully behind it. And he basically said, a real estate agent reached out to me. He's like, how can real estate agents use this? And so he built out something in OpenClaw that scrapes realestate.com.au, takes all their data, finds like distressed listings, and he was able to get the contact details of all the agents through OpenClaw, and is basically sending thousands of emails offering 50% of what the person's asking for distressed listings. And he's like, look, this is a numbers game. Obviously, I'm not expecting a high reply rate, but someone might just want a super quick sale, and I'm offering all cash for like a 50% reduction. So if you're playing the number game in the thousands, you're likely to get one at some point, I guess. But yeah, the amount of data that you can scrape now, the tools that you can build at scale, who you can contact, yeah, just it's pretty crazy what's coming. And the only thing that's limiting people at the moment, I think, is their imagination and knowing what's possible. I think once people see what's possible and they're like, what, I can build that, and then they get their own ideas and they go off and build their own crazy app that they've spent a lot of time on. I think where a lot of people are falling down, I'm keen to hear if you've tried OpenClaw yet or not, Charles, with your Mac Mini setup. But I think where a lot of people are falling down, and Simon mentioned it too, is they're starting things like OpenClaw or AI and expecting it to know everything, whereas he's looking at it from the perspective as this OpenClaw is essentially a staff member. And if a staff member is just coming into your business, you're not going to say, build me a brand new website. You're going to give them all the documentation that you have on the branding style guides, all the brand tonality. You're basically going to give them a whole bunch of information that they need to go out and create what you want to create. And I think that that's a step that people are jumping, that are saying, oh, this doesn't work. They're just doing like a really broad statement, and somehow AI is supposed to envision what's in their mind. It doesn't quite work like that. You do have to train it up. You have to give it data. You have to give it examples. You have to give it something to work with to help, I guess, bring your idea to fruition. For me, for example, when I'm building this app, I spent probably 3 hours in Claude Code just with the Opus model, planning it all before I even built anything. Whereas someone that hasn't done it before will just go in there and say, hey, build me this app, and then they go to use it and it's not working. It's because they haven't talked about all the nuances that they want in it, how they want it to operate, and all of that. So I think when you're building out something, the planning part of it is probably the most important, and it saves a lot of time going back and forward, rebuilding an app when you're finding all the bugs in it. But yeah, I probably spent about 2 or 3 hours just chatting with this AI agent about what I wanted this new app that I'm building to look like for the product feed optimization. And by the time I'd finished, it had like 1,200 lines in a markdown file of everything that we've discussed, what I wanted to build, all the nuances of it. And then you can feed that into Claude Code to start the build. So you imagine someone saying, hey, build me this app. It's like 2 sentences. And then I'm feeding it a file and saying, hey, build this app. It's 1,200 lines. Like, it's kind of the difference. Like, a broad statement versus, hey, I've just literally trained this whole thing up with exactly what I want. 1,200 lines of markdown, 1,200 line markdown file telling Claude Code exactly what to build. And I think that's kind of the difference at the moment. I'm really excited about this stuff too, if you can't tell. I've really enjoyed building these tools. They're saving me so much time, but they're also really improving the quality of output that my clients are getting in especially in their Google Ads account. But you can use this outside of marketing too, even though it's super helpful for your Shopify marketing. It's you can kind of implement it in all aspects. I think it's yeah, if you're not at least experimenting with this stuff at the moment, then do yourself a favor and just start. And if you're wanting to just start, I would just at the moment, again, these can always change, but at the moment, the best AI to be testing and playing around with is Claude. I think when we started out this podcast, Charles, I think ChatGPT was definitely like a far in front of everything else. That's changed, and I'm expecting at some point it will change again. So if you whatever time you're listening to this, at the current time, all the tests have Claude's Opus model at the highest logic and reasoning rankings. So at the moment, it's the best model to use for your AI. But yeah, I've talked a lot about the tools that I'm building. I know you bought a Mac Mini, Charles. It's specifically to test Claude Code. Have you jumped on that yet? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, not Claude Code, OpenClaw.
not open Claude. I've been so engrossed with using Claude and really trying to, I think you can spend days and weeks just mastering one platform, and I think for me, Claude is the best out there at the moment. Probably the latest thing that I've built out is an SEO command center. So basically, what I've done is I've got access to my clients' Google Search Console, Google Analytics. I haven't pulled in things like Shopify data. I think one thing I would say, if you are running an agency and you want to start using these tools for your clients, just be careful from a security perspective. I actually have a markdown file which actually talks about, what this data should and shouldn't be used for. So I'm always a little bit cautious in terms of like pulling through Shopify data from their APIs. And obviously I would need access from my clients to be able to do that. But incredible in terms of building out like this. It's a game changer for me in terms of building out this SEO command center, because I can literally now, rather than having to spend hours crawling through data on Google Search Console, I can just ask it like, can you give me a rundown of the last 90 days? What pages are performing the best? What have underperformed? I can really delve in and it can pull out data, especially when you're working with Shopify stores that have got a lot of product SKUs and you've got thousands upon thousands of collection and product pages. It's really good for kind of seeing where the opportunities are and the quick wins. Simple things like I can say, could you give me a list of pages that are ranking in, say, positions 4 to 10 on Google? Because those are kind of where those kind of low-hanging fruit where I'd like to try and get them into the top 3. I also overlaid that as well. There's a site called, I think it's dataforseo.com, where you can overlay like AI search visibility, so you can track certain AI search prompts that people are searching in for your clients. So I can kind of pull that through, and now I'm able to, give my clients a lot more data, especially when it comes to kind of doing monthly reports as well. A lot more in-depth data, but also not having to spend hours upon hours just crafting a report as well, which is, it can take up a lot of time. So, that's one of the main things I've been looking at. And actually just from that, I was looking at where the top performing organic search platforms in terms of revenue for one of my clients in 2025. And it was kind of some interesting, like whether it's slightly surprising data, but also, so basically I was looking at organic search revenue from Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Brave, which is another privacy, and ChatGPT. So out of those, Jimmy, if I was to give you those lists, what would you say would be, say, the top 3 there in terms of organic search revenue based on what you're seeing with your clients?
Say Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo and ChatGPT are actually kind of almost on par for me on a few clients. So, but definitely, Google Organic still dominates, but Bing still does all right. But yeah, DuckDuckGo is actually surprisingly popped up in a few of my clients a little bit more recently, but it's almost on par with ChatGPT. It really depends on the clients though, because I feel like some of my clients have put in a lot of work to for AI search engines, and I think they're starting to see a lot more traffic coming through from that. Nothing to compete with Google Organic, but I think if that growth trajectory continues, um, it can definitely be a bit of a game player there. But yeah, what did you see on your client side that might have been surprising, Charles?
Well,
One, was I right? Are they the main
one,
ones or
yeah,
not?
one no surprise there. Google 64% of traffic, revenue, organic search revenue came from Google. Bing was number two at around 13%, which now with Bing having AI search performance data and
Copilot?
webmasters, yeah, Copilot, I think that
Yeah.
probably one of the main reasons. Number three, actually, I didn't mention, but I put it in there. It's not really a search engine, but it kind of is, which is YouTube, just under 10%.
Yeah, okay.
And then number four was Go. Yeah, again, just under 10%. And ChatGPT came in at 1.65%. So yes, we've only really with this client started to focus more on AI search this year. But this was data from 2025. But yeah, it's just interesting to see that
Does that combine like all the variations of ChatGPT? The only reason I ask is sometimes in the reports I see like ChatGPT.com, just
it does.
ChatGPT, and then like a few variations of or referral sources from ChatGPT.
Yeah, it does. I correlated all of them up because I noticed that as well. When
Yeah,
you go
okay.
into the Shopify analytics. So, I think for me, probably the biggest. I think Bing is massively underrated. If you look at before, if we were taking traditional search before AI search, you would have seen Google up. I would have seen that up at like 90%. And now down at 64% with Bing up at 13%. Obviously Google's still the king of organic traffic and revenue, but I don't think
The problem I have with Bing at the moment is getting my clients actually into their merchant center, like the shopping ads.
yeah.
Sometimes sometimes it can take 2 months, and them still not be on there. It's like the process of getting on Bing is absolutely ridiculous. I think I think a lot of business owners just get frustrated with it and be like, "Oh, it's not worth my time anymore. This is ridiculous." And honestly, some cases it's not. If you're having to spend over 2 months to try to get on the Bing shopping network, it's just insane. So I think they could like improve their service to business owners and get a lot more people on there if it didn't take 2, 3 months and all these verifications to even try to get on there. So um, yeah, just on when you were mentioning that, I'm just checking a client that we did about 6 months ago. They're still not on. Um, it's yeah, it's I think it definitely should be used by more people, but like Bing and Microsoft aren't making it easy to do so, for example. And I used to recommend people go set up their merchant center within Bing. I'm not even bothering now because one like none of my clients are getting through. They're doing all the verifications and everything. They're not. They can get on the paid ads. That's fine. They can't seem to get on the organic Bing shopping listings. I don't know if you've had any luck with that, Charles, or seen it on your end, but
No, I mean
I
this
think
is
a lot of businesses could capitalize on it if they could do it. But yeah, it's just they just don't seem to be able to get on very easily at all. And to be honest, I don't invest a whole lot of time looking at it. Like, I really just focus on Google, but I have tried on just a couple of clients for some additional exposure, and yeah, the process is a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, from an organic perspective, I've not focused on it. We don't specifically focus on it for my clients. I think the good thing is that if you focus on ranking on Google, it seems to be that you're going to be ranking well on Bing as well as as a byproduct of that. It's the same, ranking signals. There obviously are some nuances, but they have the same thing with Google have AI overviews now at the top within their search engine, and Bing have the equivalent of that with their Copilot at the top. I can't remember exactly what they call it, but it's the same equivalent. When you make a search within Bing, it shows up sometimes with an AI answer. So yeah,
obviously, like showing up organically in the shopping doesn't help their ads in any capacity. I was just doing it for them to get additional exposure. But if an SEO is going into Bing and they're able to master that for their clients, could that if you're saying that's 10%, Bing traffic for you for that particular client, there's if you could get
that's
them
revenue.
in the organic
Yeah,
shopping listing. Yeah, if you could get them in the organic shopping listings too, that would probably jump up to 15, I'd say. Knowing the client that you're talking about, like, I think you could see a pretty decent jump from them if you were able to get the merchant center and Bing working and get them into the shopping ads, the free listings for Bing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Actually, also, since I think we last spoke, Jimmy, ChatGPT have rolled out for US clients their agentic checkout platform. So my understanding with this
Okay.
I don't know if you're aware of that. My understanding of this is that
I haven't seen it yet, no.
you can search products within ChatGPT, and when you click on to go through, it opens up the interface of that merchant's website. So the data stays with the Shopify store. And there's a partnership now with Shopify. So yeah, that's some pretty big news for one of my US clients. They now have that on board, and that's not just for showing up in ChatGPT, but also for Bing and I believe Google AI overviews as well, or it might be Gemini. So it's not just ChatGPT.
No,
It's not just ChatGPT that the products are going to start showing up, and you're going to have this agentic checkout feature. So that's pretty big news. It'll be interesting to see, obviously, how buyer behavior shifts with that. But I think that's kind of where we're moving in terms of search and visibility. I must admit, when I see all these things that Shopify are doing, I'm like, if you're an e-commerce store and you're not on Shopify, I don't know what you're doing, because they are so ahead of the game in terms of knowing where things are going and where search is going, and where the world is going, and how people are going to be buying products. That I think you would be doing a disservice if you're on some other platform now. Because they just make things so much easier from a marketing and operations perspective.
On a non-AI note, in the marketing space too, I did notice, so JudgeMe, I'm not sure if you've come across that app in Shopify, Charles, but JudgeMe is finally a Google accredited referral, review partner. So that is going to be able to plug into Merchant Center a lot easier, and but people do have to update it. So if you do have JudgeMe, you have to go into the settings and just accept the new feed that will come through. Just a word of warning though, it takes about 10 days for that new feed to cross over, and they do recommend that you delete the old one. I deleted the old one as soon as I set up the new one, so now we've got about 10 days with no reviews in the back end of the merchant center. So if you do it, set it up and then leave it for like 9 days and then potentially remove the old one. Especially if you're a big e-commerce store and those reviews kind of are important on your shopping ads, keep that in mind. So yeah, JudgeMe is a great review kind of platform, and I think a lot of people were paying for the expensive ones because JudgeMe weren't an accredited Google partner. But now for how much JudgeMe costs, and I think it's like $15 a month or something, and compare that to like Kendo, which is like $100 a month. Now there's really not a whole lot of difference. So I think a lot of people will be absolutely flooding to JudgeMe now for their reviews. And yeah, I've had no problems with it on my clients. I actually really like it. But yeah, it's welcome news that they've now been accepted by Google. And I mean, they said it's been coming for, I think I've read the Reddit forums when people were initially asking. I think they said they're working on it for like the last 7 years.
Oh
So
wow.
it's finally come through.
Talking about reviews, Jimmy, do any of your clients focus on Trustpilot reviews?
Yeah, so one of my biggest clients does heavily. Yeah.
Interesting. The reason I say that is because I'm noticing in the data research that Trustpilot is having has an impact on AI search results, particularly ChatGPT, and it seems like there's more of a focus on reputational mentions than actual backlinks in order to actually get shown on these larger platforms.
You saw that in your own testing,
Yeah,
Charles.
I
I remember
did.
a while
Yes,
back you tested it on Trustpilot, and the reviews that were in there showed up in ChatGPT almost the day after, almost when you were testing.
correct. Yeah. So I think that's a big one. I know that there's a couple of my clients that they don't focus on that. Whether that's because
I think Trustpilot's quite an expensive review platform, isn't it?
I
To
think
use
so. Yeah, I
client
think
side.
once you get it at scale, like if you're getting a lot of reviews, it becomes more expensive. Yeah, that might be one of the
Especially if you
reasons.
want to connect it, to the Google Merchant Center as well. I think I can't remember the pricing, but from memory, it was quite expensive. But
Hmm.
um, I kind of just want to look it up quickly now. But yeah, from memory, last time that I checked, I don't know. So they do have a starter one for um $89. That's Australian. I don't know what it is. And then so the starter you get 100 reviews per month, but if you're doing 1,000 reviews per month, you're looking at $649 Australian per month just to use that review platform, which is
Yeah,
a lot of money to collect reviews.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hefty, isn't it? Especially when you consider the amount of costs involved in running an e-commerce store. Um, yeah, so yeah, reviews is certainly a big one. But yeah, it's interesting, to see how these platforms influence AI search results.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's going to just become more and more important. That's why I'm working a lot now on improving the merchant center feed quality that my clients are sending out. But yeah, I think I'd be interested to see some of your tools as well, Charles. Maybe we can do like not a podcast episode, but like coming out soon, but like demonstrating AI tools that have been built. So I've got a couple now that I've built out. The one that I mentioned earlier about the compliance description rewriter. Yeah, connects directly to Shopify. I hit approve, and then all the descriptions are changed directly within Shopify at
Did
the
you?
push of a button. And that process took 23 minutes to change 600 descriptions. Um,
Is that with the
but
client
yeah,
site? You need access to that in terms of. Yeah. Okay. Was that
Yeah, the supplement. Yeah, the supplement site. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean that's I think there's definitely value there because yeah, it's not just optimizing them and mapping them out, but it's the uploading. It's the manual work in terms of just if you were doing that one
Yeah.
by one, that takes forever. There's just a lot of admin work. Um, whereas if
Yeah,
you
no,
can get it done,
this did 600 of them in 23 minutes. So,
yeah,
yeah, it was it's pretty eye-opening. I'm not even joking that it would have taken 12 months plus if they ever even got around to updating all 600. So,
yeah,
um, that's the difference. You can do something that's going to take over a year to update them all, or you can do it in 23 minutes. The I see so much opportunity for stores with large SKU numbers, um, because they've got so much more data, they've got so much more products, but now they can kind of operate at the same speed that a small store would in terms of managing product titles, all that. Whereas before, if you needed to change something and you needed to change it across thousands of SKUs, it takes forever. Even
yeah,
using some of the bulk editing apps, it's a long process. So yeah, if you're listening to this episode and you leave with one thing, I would start with Claude. Download it, have an experiment. Charles and I are both using it to build out tools for our clients, and yeah, we've given you some cool use cases, I guess, for how we're actually using it, and yeah, it's time to start diving into that, especially now that Shopify have come out and natively connecting it with Claude Code. You can do a test theme and start building your own Shopify theme from scratch. Learn how it works, learn how to prompt it properly. But yeah, I think if you're taking anything away from this episode today, it's the opportunities there at the moment to make a lot of improvements quickly for tasks that would have taken you months. So yeah, keep that in mind. I can't stress that enough to some of my clients because I work
oh,
with large SKU stores. I'm like, this shouldn't be taking you as long as it was, even 2 months ago. You should be dramatically streamlining this process. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. The speed of execution is massive. I think that's probably one of the most frustrating things. Um, when you're waiting for a client on something, and you know that now, especially with AI, this could have been done last week or 3 months ago, and you could have a huge amount of results to show for it. So yeah, if you're not making changes and you're not executing on things now, a competitor is, and not just one
Even
competitor, probably a dozen competitors.
I remember speaking to you about this like months ago, Charles, when we were early on. Like, I've got one client where their product collections, like 90% of them are missing descriptions. But I'm just thinking now, I could build out an app to fill out all those descriptions in the space of an afternoon. And
Yeah,
it's something that we haven't touched in like 12 months. I could probably solve that problem um, over a weekend. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool what you can do now. So, yeah, well, we might leave it on that note for this week. Go experiment with Claude. If you've got a large SKU store or you're doing things manually quite often, it should be a trigger to be, hey, I need to invest some time into figuring this out and buying your time back, basically.
yeah. Sounds good, Jimmy. Do you want to finish finish us off in terms of what we're where people can find us,
Yeah,
all that jazz?
yeah, sure. If yeah, come say hello in the Facebook group. There hasn't been a post in there for a while, but if you post in there, me and Charles will get the notification, so we'll reply instantly. But we are at Shopify Marketing Secrets on Facebook, or just check us out in any of the podcasting platforms for e-commerce marketing chats. And also you can find us on YouTube at e-commerce marketing chats as well. And look forward to chatting to you guys next week with all things e-commerce and AI at the moment too. So yeah. See you guys.